A luxury car sat dead in the middle of the road, its headlights still on, rain tapping against the windshield like time running out. The millionaire inside was already late, phone pressed to his ear, voice sharp with frustration, when a small figure stepped closer from the sidewalk. A boy, barely a teenager, wearing worn shoes and a jacket too thin for the cold. He looked at the car once and calmly said, "Sir, I think I can fix it." The laughter came instantly. Guards smirked. The driver scoffed. And the millionaire waved him away without a second thought. But what happened next would silence every single one of them and change that man's life forever. This story isn't about a broken car. It's about what happens when confidence comes from knowledge instead of status, and how one small decision exposed the emptiness behind a fortune. The driver had already tried everything. Phone calls were made, diagnostics were run, and promises were exchanged with mechanics who were still hours away. The engine sat there in silence, expensive and useless, as traffic slowly passed by. The millionaire checked his watch again, not because he was late, but because waiting felt so unfamiliar. In his world, problems disappeared the moment money entered the conversation. But this one didn't. No amount of influence could convince the engine to turn over. He stepped out of the car, irritation hidden behind calm authority, and looked at the machine as if it had betrayed him. This car had never failed before. It was maintained better than most people's lives, and yet here it was, dead. For the first time in years, he felt exposed. That's when he noticed the boy standing a few steps away. Thin jacket, mud on his shoes. Watching not the man, but the engine. Not with curiosity, but with focus. The millionaire dismissed him at first. People like that always hovered near trouble, hoping for a handout. He turned back to his phone, offering more money, more urgency. Still nothing changed. Minutes passed. The silence stretched. Slowly something uncomfortable settled in the realization that wealth had reached its limit. The engine didn't care who owned it. It didn't care about status, reputation, or power. It only cared about what was wrong inside. And standing there, surrounded by everything he owned, the millionaire felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Helplessness. Behind him, the boy took a step closer. No one noticed at first. To them, he blended into the background, another poor kid passing through, another face that didn't matter. He had learned long ago how to stand still without being seen. He wasn't supposed to be there. He should have been in school, or helping his mother at the small repair shed near the railway line. But engines had a way of pulling him in. The sound they made when they struggled, the silence when something inside went wrong, it spoke to him. He watched the millionaire pacing, phone pressed to his ear, voice low but sharp. The boy understood that tone. He'd heard it from customers who thought money could replace patience. The boy waited, because adults like this never listened at first. From where he stood, he could see what others missed. The slight leak under the front. The way the engine tried to turn, then stopped like it was being choked. It wasn't a big problem. The boy had fixed worse with less. Finally, the call ended. The millionaire exhaled sharply and stared at the car like it had personally insulted him. That's when the boy spoke. "I think it's not the engine," he said quietly. The voice was calm, almost apologetic, not asking for attention, offering information. The millionaire turned, surprised more than annoyed. His eyes went to the boy's worn shoes, his thin jacket, the rain darkening his hair. A brief smile crossed his face, the kind people use when they don't take someone seriously. "What do you know about cars?" he asked. The boy didn't argue. He didn't defend himself, just nodded toward the front. "It's choking. The line's blocked. If you keep trying, you'll make it worse." For a moment, no one spoke. The guard shifted. The driver frowned. The millionaire laughed softly at first, then louder. Not cruel, but certain. Certain that this was ridiculous. Certain that his money and experience had already covered every possibility. But the boy didn't flinch. He had heard laughter before. It never meant he was wrong. Just stood there quietly, rain soaking into his sleeves, eyes fixed on the open hood as if the problem was already speaking to him. The millionaire watched from the back seat. This child reminded him of a life he'd deburied under success. Deadlines and numbers that no longer felt real. Everything about the scene felt wrong. A luxury car worth more than most houses, surrounded by security, completely helpless, while a boy with nothing looked completely certain. That contrast hung heavy in the air, though his mother's words echoed in his mind. Machines are honest. They tell you what's wrong if you're patient enough to listen. Ignoring the driver's protests, the millionaire sighed. All right. Let him try. The guards parted, a silent, skeptical audience. The boy didn't hesitate. He leaned over the engine, his small hands moving with a purpose that seemed out of place. He didn't use any fancy tools. He didn't even seem to be looking for what was broken. Instead, he was tracing a path, following a line with his finger, his head tilted as if listening to a secret. After a moment, he stopped. He pointed to a small, unremarkable tube, tucked away beneath a larger component. Here, he said. It's pinched. The fuel isn't getting through. The driver peered over, a look of disbelief on his face. That's impossible. We checked the fuel pump, the injectors. Checked the expensive parts, the boy replied, not looking up. But sometimes the problem is simple. With a careful twist of his fingers, he repositioned the line, freeing the tiny blockage. He didn't even get his hands dirty. Then he stepped back. Try it now, he said. The silence that followed was thick with doubt. The driver exchanged a look with the millionaire, then slid back into the driver's seat. He turned the key, not with hope, but with a sense of duty to prove the boy wrong. But this time, there was no choked sputter. There was a clean, powerful roar as the engine sprang back to life, humming as if nothing had ever happened. The guards stood frozen. The driver's jaw dropped. The millionaire just stared, not at the car, but at the boy. This kid, with nothing to his name, had just solved a problem that money, power, and a team of so-called experts couldn't. The millionaire stepped out of the car, the rain no longer bothering him. He looked at the boy, who was already starting to walk away, as if his work was done. Wait, the millionaire called out. He pulled out his wallet filled with cash and credit cards tools that had failed him completely. He took out all the cash he had, a thick wad of bills. Here, he said, holding it out. This is for you. The boy looked at the money, then back at the millionaire's face, and for the first time he smiled. A real, genuine smile. I don't want your money, sir, he said, but if you want to thank me. My mother has a small repair shop by the old railway. She works on old fans and generators for people who can't afford new ones. Her tools are old, some are broken. He paused. If you really want to help, help her. And with that, he turned and disappeared back into the rainy afternoon, leaving the millionaire standing alone on the side of the road, holding a handful of useless money. In that moment, the rich man finally understood. Wealth isn't about what you can buy, it's about what you can do. Knowledge isn't about what you own, it's about what you understand. And sometimes, the most valuable lessons come from the people you notice the least. The car was fixed, but it was the millionaire who was truly changed. He drove away that day with a new destination in mind. A small repair shop by an old railway line, ready to invest in something far more valuable than any car. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that subscribe button for more content that makes you think. See you next time.